All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakodash. Double honors to our elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutations and many blessings to those that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Nathan Yala from the GMS Camp Atlanta, coming back at you through the Spirit with another lesson. And I pray and hope this lesson is edifying. In this particular lesson, we're going into this video here. Now I did this video before a couple days ago, but for some reason, let me check it now. Esau did not allow my screen to be recorded. Okay, so it was only sound, and this happens quite often. I never really change anything with my settings, and sometimes when I open up, this OBS Studios to record, it's the camera or the sound isn't working. It's very, very odd that this happens. All right. So this is a video from Elder Apostle Tahar. Okay. And he profiled this video. Genesis talking about how non-Israelites can be saved, which is absolutely not true. And before I play this video, I want to start off with a precept. And this precept right here, this one precept destroys their whole argument. Okay. But we're going to dig deep into this to show, that the Israelites were indeed scattered among all of the nations. Okay. And there's a biblical record and a secular record of, this account. All right. And this is James 1:1. And it says, James, the servant of Yahweh Shai, James, the servant of Yahweh and the Lord Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greetings. Who was this addressed to? This was addressed to the 12 tribes that were scattered among the nations. Now, Elder Malcolm always starts his videos out. Salutations to the scattered elect that are scattered abroad that look like the other nations. Okay? Because when you are scattered among other nations for generations, you start to look like those nations and adopt their customs. All right. Now I have a video here that I'm going to play. And this video, right, he goes over how throughout the generations, the seed will start to change to look like the race that is the dominant race, the race that is being procreated with the most. So if you a Jake that goes into a land of Edomites and your seed starts procreating with the Edomites, well, guess what? Eventually, your seed is going to start looking like Edomites. So let's play this little short video.
No trace of native. 3 generations. Half-blood grandmother, quadroon daughter, octoroon grandson. Now, as you can see in the 3rd generation, or 3rd cross, no trace of native origin is apparent. The continuing infiltration of white blood finally stamps out the black color. Simply been bred out.
Okay, now let's play that again so you can understand. All right.
3 generations. Half-blood grandmother, quadroon daughter, octoroon grandson. Now, as you can see in the 3rd generation, or 3rd cross, no trace of native origin is apparent. The continuing infiltration of white blood finally stamps out the black color. Simply been bred out.
All right. So you see that he's saying that you're being bred out, right? And they haven't been bred out, man. What happened is that you start to look like the nations that basically, the genetic traits have been bred out. Okay. However, the original seed of where that seed line came from still remain. All right. Now, when you go to the scriptures, this is Numbers 1:18. All right. And it reads, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the 2nd month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the houses of their fathers, not their mothers, by their fathers. Well, why? Because the fathers carry the seed. Okay. The seed comes from the Father. It doesn't change. The characteristics of the seed may change, but the seed itself still came from that. You know, an apple tree, no matter where it's grown at, is still going to be an apple tree. Now, some of the characteristics may change due to the environment. The tree may be a little bit darker. The fruit may be a little bit sweeter. You know, it may grow in a different shape. You know, but nevertheless, at the end of the day, it's still an apple tree. Okay. And when you start to understand that our people were Hellenized, right? And we're gonna go into the Hellenization, right? Our people are forced to adopt customs, okay? They were forced to adopt customs, Greek customs, and abandon our laws. This is in the scriptures, okay? And this is in secular history. This is easy stuff, easy work. So when you hear these guys say that from Genesis say that, you know, anybody can be saved, hey, they took the bag, man. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They had to have taken the bag because there's no way. Okay? So they assembled themselves by their pedigrees after the houses of their fathers, according to the number of their names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls. All right? So we know that the father is the one that determines the nationality of the child, not the mother. So it doesn't matter, you know, who or what race the mother is. Like even the 12 tribes of Israel, you know, uh, uh, Jacob had different. What is it? Not Jacob, but hold up, like Solomon, you know, his mother, you know. You have many different accounts in the scriptures where you had men that were not born of Israelite mothers, but they had Israelite fathers. And that still made them an Israelite. Okay, now I'm gonna give an example. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up an example. Um uh um, give me 1 second, I can. Who was it? I think it was Keturah. What nation was Keturah? Trying to figure that. I think Keturah was a Hamite. I'm not 100% certain. But nevertheless, there are many examples in the scriptures where men had wives of different nations, and it escapes me right now. But we'll get into it maybe in another lesson. But men had wives of different nations, and that did not make their children of that nation that, you know, that the wife was, right. It made them Israelite children, you know. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna play this video right here, or some of it at least, just a little bit, just to see what these guys are talking about.
Spoken by Genesis, whatever. I might change it up. Anyway, here it is. It's live now. I got it in my notifications. Non-Israelites receive salvation, not clickbait. Priest Genesis mode. So here it is. But listen to this. Back to we're 8 minutes in. Listen to this.
Non-Israelites can receive salvation. First and foremost, let's give all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. We do so by Shema. non-Israelites can receive salvation. First and foremost, let's give all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father.
So you heard it. It's live. I don't know if y'all want to come on, but at least they came back because I did a video earlier, and I showed you the video. It's official. What did I say? They non-Israelites or other nations can be saved. Pursuant to Zechariah 2 verse 11. We started 10. So anyway, let's go ahead and let this play. Let's see where it goes.
All right. So you hear what they saying here, which is complete nonsense. All right. So let me see. Here's the book of Nehemiah. No, it's like a book of Nehemiah. 13. This is Nehemiah 13-23. It says, in those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. So these are women of different nations. And their children spake in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. You see that? So the children, that they were still Israelites, but they were speaking those languages of other people, which also meant if you speak the language, guess what else you're doing? Because language is the foundation of what? Culture. Okay? So if you're speaking another language, you are engaged in that culture. You understand? So then these people will grow up, especially when you're raised by the mother and the father isn't teaching you your nationality. You're going to be raised in the culture that your mother is in, and you're going to do what they do. So you're going to forget who you are as an Israelite. Okay? You know, these people out here, these guys out here, this is how you can tell that they've taken the bag. They've completely taken the bag, you know. And I have a video here of another camp, and they said that they saw a comment saying that, you know, hey, if he needed to ever get rich, they'll start teaching that the Gentiles can be saved. So let's go ahead and listen to this.
Corey?
I believe so.
I believe
yeah, it was.
And why are you switching up now?
Yeah.
Signing account was.
Hey, it was heavy too. One of the brothers caught it on the comment board. Somebody put it on the Genesis video when he was doing the debate. I mean, not the debate, when he was doing the video on the all non-Israelites can receive salvation. Somebody on the comment board called him out and said, Deacon, you said many times, if I ever want to get rich, I'm going to teach all nations can be saved.
Oh, wow.
Now check that out.
Wow.
Because that's what the other nations want to hear. They want to hear that they can make it into the kingdom too, right? So y'all, it's clear. It's clear that y'all took the bag because the scriptures don't say this. So now, you know, let me, I got something from Chat GPT, but before I get that, I want to go to the book of Romans 1:16. And it says, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, for it is the power of Yahweh unto salvation to every one that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. Okay? Now he says to the Jew first, and then to the Greek, right? Well, the Jew obviously is talking about the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? But let's see what it says here for Greek. Oh, there's this word here called Helen. Helen, right? This is Psalms G 1672. Helen. All right. Well, let's take a little dive into this word Helen. And Helen means a Greek either by nationality, whether a native or the mainland or of the Greek islands or colonies. In a wider sense, the name embraces all nations, not Jews, that have made the language, customs, and learning of the Greeks their own. The primary reference is to the difference of religion and worship. You see that? So the Israelites that were scattered there, they made these customs and religions their own. Now, they were forced to do this. All right? They were forced to abandon their customs according to the scriptures. This is what they were forced to abandon their customs. So when we were scattered, and let's get some more, before we go to the book of the Maccabees and we read, about what's happening, because now we got it established that our people were Hellenized and they adopted the customs of the other nations. But we need to go back to the book of Ezekiel, right? 11 and 16. This is the book of Ezekiel 11 and 16, and it says, Therefore say, thus saith the Lord power, although I have cast them far off among the heathen. Wait a minute. You cast your Israelites afar off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries. Oh, wait a minute. So you scattered the Israelites among the heathens and among the other countries, right? Yet will I be to them a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. And this is why we lean on the Lord right now, because he's our little sanctuary, our glimmer of hope in these lands that we've been scattered onto. Okay? So I just wanted to show you how the Lord scattered us among the nations. There's no way to get around this. Okay? There's no way to get around this. All right? Let's look. Let's go for another one. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's go. I want to get more of these scattering precepts. So let's go to the book of Deuteronomy 4 and 27. All right. This is Deuteronomy 4 and 27. And it said, And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. All right. And as I just brought out in this video here, let's watch it again.
3 generations. Half-blood grandmother, quadroon daughter, octoroon grandson. Now, as you can see in the 3rd generation, or 3rd cross, no trace of native origin is apparent. The continuing infiltration of white blood finally stamps out the black color. Simply been bred out.
Now, all those women, the grandmother and the mother, right? They were sleeping with white men. And this is why the seed line continued to get stomped out. Okay? So you see, when you are and then we were in these nations for hundreds and even thousands of years. Okay? So can you imagine, after 2 generations, you're already speaking the language and the customs of that land. Imagine 100 years, 4 generations, 5 generations. You're going to completely forget who you are. You're not going to realize that you're an Israelite anymore. You're going to completely forget. Wait a minute. Who? So when somebody comes to you and says, you're an Israelite, you're going to say, well, I've been living on this land doing this stuff, me and my family, for 200-300 years. Right? Because this is all you've been taught throughout your generations, is that your people have been dwelling on that land for however many generations, and you're a part of that custom. But really, when you trace back your line go back to an Israelite that was scattered there. Okay? So when y'all sit there and talk about Paul and how Paul had wrote all these letters, man, he was writing these letters to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad. Okay? He was very specific. He was very calculated when he was writing these letters. It wasn't to the heathens. He knew. That's why he said to the Jew first and to the Greek, there's no difference. He didn't say there was no difference because they were both equal in the eyes of the Lord. No, he said there was no difference because they were both Israelites. Okay? And both of them were in wickedness. Whether or not you're a Jew or a Greek, you're still wicked as hell. And you still need to come back to the Lord. They were wicked back then. Okay? So y'all people sitting up here talking, that everybody can get saved. Y'all definitely took the bag. All right? Definitely. All right, the Lord ain't dealing with no other nations but the Israelites. Okay. Let me see. I got a couple more precepts on the. As a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and go to this Maccabees. So we can get this. Go ahead and get this first Maccabees actually. First Maccabees, 1, and I'm gonna go to 12, 1 and 12. All right. All right. I'm gonna go to 13. It says, for when the leader was coming to Persia, and the army with him that seemed invincible, they were slain in the temple of Neia by the deceit of the Naians. I can't pronounce that. Nanai's priest. For Antiochus, as though he would marry her, came. Oh, I'm looking. I'm like, this isn't First Maccabees. This is Second Maccabees. Salakia. I thought, but this one I put First Maccabees, but I guess I didn't. All right, here it is. This is First Maccabees 1 and 13. It says, then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. Now, again, this goes to show you these were Jakes that were given license to build according to the customs of the heathen and the whole gymnasium thing, right? So when you go here to the gymnasium, right? The gymnasium, 1590s, a place of exercise from the Latin gymnasium, school for gymnastics, right? But as you keep on reading, it says to exercise or train, literally or figuratively, literally to train naked. From gymnos, naked. From the Metatheans of pi, suffix, form, or naked, see naked. So the word gym or gymnasium actually means naked. And you wonder why you be having all these women coming up in there with their asses out. Because the actual gym literally means naked or to be naked, working out. You see? And this was a Greek custom. Well, didn't it just say that the Israelites had adopted these Greek customs? We'll go back to the book of Romans 1 and 16. What did he say to the Jew and then to the Greek? And then what did it say for the word Greek? Helen. So Helen means to take on the Greek customs or the customs of the Greeks. So our people had took on those customs. All right. Now I have another one for you. All right. Because this is going into how the Israelites were forced to adopt the customs of the Greek. All right. This is First Maccabees 41. It says 1 and 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to the whole kingdom that all people should be one people. This is the New World Order. They were trying to do it back then. Okay. One people. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the mandate of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. You see that? So this is clear that the Israelites, under the rule of Antiochus Epiphanes, adopted Greek customs, and they were sacrificing abominable things, eating pork, and speaking the Greek language. Okay? You can't get around this history. This is what happened to our people. Now, when you got 100 years, so you go into the Greek captivity, right? And then the Greek Empire falls. Then what? Well, you're still taking on their customs. You didn't go back and adopt the Israelite customs. You still, in that Hellenized mindset. When did you come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai? Well, you didn't. Okay. And this thing of ours was not given to any of the other nations. All right. The Lord ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing to do with the other nations. All right. Y'all, I don't understand why y'all niggas out there want to consistently try to put the other nations into our business. Okay. They done did enough to us. You know, these nations have done enough to us, man. Even to this very day, we can't live in peace on the little bit that we have without these damn devils and these other nations harassing us. Okay? Then they want to blame us for the things that they created. Even Jake that's going off right now. This system that Jake is going off in, that's because of the fucking people that are governing this world. They're the ones who are promoting this poison and evil in our neighborhoods. Okay? And we live in wicked flesh, so it's not difficult for a person that if you know you're not gonna immediately get punished, or they make wickedness seem something like it's something good, you know, making bitter sweet and sweet bitter, saying that evil is good and good is evil, holding folly and great dignity. Of course, people are gonna do, you know, like they got this is a prime example. They got this demonic ass 6-7 shit going on right now. Sounds fun, right? So they put it out in front of all the kids, right? And the kids running around Trenton is 6-7, 6-7 shit. They don't even know what it means. It just sounds fun to them, you know? But who introduced this shit to these kids? It was social media, and who controls social media? Well, the same people that control the guns, the same people that control the drugs, the same people that control the educational system, the same people that control the jails. It's the same people that control all this stuff. So they're the ones that are pushing this poison into our neighborhoods and into our communities. And Jake, being the wicked spirit that he is, he's adopting this shit. Okay? Okay? So yeah. So this is why we're not supposed to live amongst the heathen, because we are a holy people and we're supposed to be separated from these people, man. You know? And you want to bring this wickedness, this evil that we're trying to escape from. We want to be immortal. We don't want to die. We want to live forever. We want to be able to have dominion and eat the good of the land and live in peace. You know, we want golden gates. We want you know, women that are in their right fucking mind. You know, and everything to be set up and in order. But on this side, you ain't getting none of that. And then you trying to bring these same people that put us into this situation. This is why. You know, I say y'all, you know, hey, it's apparent that y'all took the bag. Y'all took the bag, okay? I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6, and it says, For thou art an holy people unto the Lord. For thou, okay, now listen to this very carefully. Because for some reason y'all think that the Lord changed his mind, and the scriptures clearly say, I'll quote it, that I am the Lord, I change not, so that the children of Israel are not consumed. So the Lord don't change, man. Whatever he said back then, it still applies now. Okay? Now listen up. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord power. The Lord had chosen, the Lord power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. You see that? Above all people that are on the face of the earth. Who did he choose? Well, he chose Israel. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? That's who were chosen to be the Lord's special people. But y'all want to use, especially you niggas, you know, that's why I believe a bunch of y'all niggas are preaching that these Israelites can be that these heathens can be saved. Y'all tears. Okay? Y'all Edomites that look, or y'all people of other nations that look like Jake, because the same process works on the other side too. You know, just like the Israelites have been scattered among all the nations, some of the nations have been scattered among Israel too. You know, so you have a Moabite that look like a stone cold Jake, or an Edomite that look like a stone cold Jake. But this dude, his fathers go back to the line of Esau. So of course he'll say Esau can be saved, because Esau ain't his enemy. That's his brother, his father. You see? So that also has to be taken into consideration when we're looking at these guys that are preaching these false doctrines. They might not have taken the bag. They might just be doing this just because they're not an Israelite. Okay? They're not of Israel. Okay? Or the Lord blinded them. But in this particular case, I think these guys took the bag. Okay? Because of the way, you know, what the brother in the camp said. Now, we're gonna go. We're gonna continue on with this. We're gonna go to 2nd Ezra, As a matter of fact, before we get that, let's go to this AI overview. Okay, so AI actually outlines. This is a great tool to have. AI actually outlines, what happened to the Israelites, and it breaks it down. This is AI overview from Maccabees. Okay, here we go. Right here. I'm gonna start at 2 because we went through the warning and all that stuff. The AI breaking it down better than y'all. This is the historical fulfillment of forced Hellenization. Centuries later, after the scattering, the Hellenistic king Antiochus the fourth Epiphanes enacted decrees designed to eradicate Jewish law and cultures and replaced it with Greek customs. This was not a mere influence; it was forced under the law, by the law under penalty of death. The key scriptures describing the forced adoption of Greek customs are from the Apocrypha, which provides the historical bridge between the Testaments. And this is one of the reasons why they took the Apocrypha out the Bible. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to the whole kingdom that all should be one people and everyone shall leave his laws, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he should die. Okay. Now the king had sent letters by the hands of the messengers onto Jerusalem. This is quoting. This is directly out of Maccabees 1 through 43, 41 and 43, and 49 and 52. Okay. All right. Now the king has sent letters by the hands of the messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbade burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and that they should leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with the manner of cleanliness and profanation. Profane. Okay. And it says, First Maccabees 14 through 15. And I brought this out already. They built a place of exercise, a gymnasium, right? And we went up and showed you that gymnasium means naked, at Jerusalem, according to the custom of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised. Okay. So it goes on to say, they'll give it a little breakdown. So profaning the Sabbaths and the feast, ending temple sacrifice, eating unclean food, forbidding circumcision, worshiping Greek gods. Okay. This was assimilation. This forced assimilation is what sparked the Maccabean revolt, as recorded in First Maccabees, where the remnant of Israel chose to die rather than to revolt, than to violate the covenant. Therefore, your statement is biblically and historically accurate. Israel was indeed forced, because this is what I told him, because it was giving me, chat gives you some bullshit until you check it, right? Israel was indeed forced. He says, therefore, your statement was biblically and historically accurate. Israel was indeed forced to adopt Greek customs, which was direct manifestation of the curse for disobedience prophesied in Deuteronomy, while also setting the stage for the fulfilled remnant to fight for their identity. Okay, you see that? Now, so there it is. Okay, that we were Hellenized. All right. And it go, I did a lot of digging on here, and I just got the meat of it, it's a little bit more, I think, at the top where I asked it about, but we ain't got to get it. But, it was basically about the genetics of the, what happens if you, if you asked it, how many generations does it take for the genetic, here it is right here. Here it is right here. This is what I was looking for. All right. Okay, so I asked it a very specific question, and it went into the earlier one drop rule, not specific, right? And it kept giving me some BS, and finally, I just like whatever. But right here is where the meat of it is. What I want to read. It says the one drop rule. The one drop rule. This was a social and legal rule, not specific to one. It decreed that anyone with any known African ancestry, a single drop of black blood was legally classified as black, regardless of their appearance. Passing. This social context led to the research and observation on passing when individuals of the multiracial ancestry were perceived as white. Anecdotal and sociological observations noted that it often took 3 to 4 generations of mixing with white parents for the descendants to be able to pass consistently. And this is, hey, remember what do they call it? I can't remember what they call it in Mexico, but it calls the lightning and bettering of the races or whatever. I can't remember what that term was, but this was a worldwide thing where everybody wanted to be white. Why? Because the white people were in rulership. The so-called white people were in rulership. All right. So often took 3 to 4 generations of mixing while white parents with white parents for the descendants to be able to pass consistently. But this was highly variable and dependent on which genes were inherited by chance. Okay. So I'm gonna scroll down a little bit because okay, here it is. Practical breakdown. 1 to 3 generations were very likely to be visible or often blended form. 4 to 6 generations, this is the transitional zone. The original traits become less common and more subtle. Many descendants will no longer strongly display them, but some still will have random chance. 7 plus, it becomes statistically very unlikely for a person to strongly exhibit the original traits, though subtle traits can persist indefinitely. In essence, think of this as not of a breeding out, but as a breeding to low probability of expression. For the low probability to be reached, you are looking at a range of 5 to 7 generations, with the understanding that it is never guaranteed, because you might have those what do you call those genes, those genes that just pop out of nowhere. I just had the tip of my tongue too. Man, what is the name of those genes, man? I just had the tip of my tongue. That's not it. Malignant genes. That's what it was. You may have those malignant genes that lay dormant, and then just one generation, they born with black hair, brown skin, and you're looking at them like, where the hell that come from? Well, it was in there. Okay, that gene was malignant. All right, but for the most part, this explains how through long periods of us being like, I mean, think about that. We was in slavery for 400 years, man. Don't you think through all of the raping of Massa, going sneaking into the slave quarters and all the women he was raping, and then Esau's sick, so he was raping his own daughters because he didn't look at them as his own daughters, you know. And then those children would grow up, and the son would rape a daughter, and then the grandson would rape a daughter, and then before you know it, you got this retarded ass family of Edomites, that look like Edomites. They no longer look like Jake, right? So those are the terrorists. But then in reverse, you got Jake. You had these white women that was going into slave quarters too, because they wanted some of that BBC. They looking at what Master got and they looking at what Jake got, and they're like, nah, you ain't got it. Let me go up in here. So they was going up in there and they was raping the men. These white females, and they was getting pregnant by them. All right, and they were having these babies, and a lot of times, master would sell that baby into slavery, and then the process will repeat. Will repeat. Okay, so then after many generations, what do you think you have? You have children that have grown up, that have adopted the customs of those nations that they were scattered. They look like the people, and they speak the language, and they adopted the customs. It's right here, man. So this is how you know these people have 100% taken the bag, because this stuff is easy to find and easy to prove. Okay? This is not rocket science. You have to go above and beyond to try to make it sound like you're correct. All right? Everything that I just brought here, even down to the gymnasium, you go to the gym now, ass out. When you think of the name, when you think of the meaning of the word gym, oh well, of course, they ain't put out a law yet, or a standard telling females that they can't come into the gym dressed like that, had it? Nah, they still allowed to. And don't think that the men don't get a pass neither, because the men be half naked too, with short shorts on and low cut shirts. It just because they're not as exposed with skin tight, form fitting clothes on, don't mean that they still ain't exposing themselves in a manner that's inappropriate. You know, but it is more common in women to come that way. All right, so let's continue on. Um, so let's hear what the Lord got to say about this. Let's see what Yahweh Shai has to say about this. This is Matthew 15. This is Matthew 15 and 24. And it says, "But he answered and said," and this is the Lord speaking, "I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Okay? Those are all the sheep that were scattered. Why is that you fools want to sit here and twist what the Lord is saying? The Lord said that he's only for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So who are you to sit there and say that everybody could get saved when the Lord himself said that he only coming for Israel? This is why man, I hope the Lord destroy y'all. I hope the Lord allow y'all to get destroyed right in front of us. Because y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of wicked niggas who's still trying to make it in the system that's falling apart right before your eyes, man. You know? But, you give us an opportunity for edification to edify those that may not know or may be learning. All right? So let's continue on, because now that we brought that out, let's go to the second Ezra, because let's see what the Lord let's see what he thinks about the other nations. Okay? Because for some reason, y'all kind of think that the Lord loves the other nations. The Lord don't love these other nations. They ain't shit to him. All right? And it's not by my words. It's by the words of the Lord. He the one who said that these nations ain't shit to him. Okay? This is second Ezra's 2 and 56. And it says, "As for the other people which also come from Adam, thou hast said they are nothing but like unto spittle." That's what you are to me. Okay? "And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel." Like you drinking some water and some of it spills on the ground, and you just keep it moving. You keep drinking like it's nothing. You know, even if you have some juice or something like that, you drinking some juice and you spill a little bit. Whatever. I don't want that. You're not trying to go to the ground and lick it up. It's like whatever, right? That's what the Lord, how he feels about the other nations. Oh, you think that it's just you think it's just the Apocrypha? Oh, well, let's go into the Bible. The Apocrypha is the Bible, but y'all know what I mean. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. I want that, but Give me 1 second. I know I had it pulled. I had it. All right. So this is the book of Isaiah 40. I'm gonna come back to this, but this is the book of Isaiah 40 and 15. And it says, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. There's that drop coming out the vessel again, and are counted as a small dust of the balances. You know, you put some flour or something, you know, some dust on the balance scale to weigh it, right? And then when you get it off, there's a little bit of dust, a little film left over. What do you do with that? Normally you just wipe it off and throw it away, right? But yeah, that's what y'all are. All right. And it says, behold, he taketh up isles. He taketh up the isles as a very little thing. Y'all are insignificant. Okay. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient to burn, sufficient for an offering. All the nations before him are as nothing, and as counted to him as less than nothing. And vanity, how could they be less than nothing? You see what I'm saying? This is how valuable the other nations are unto the Heavenly Father. Less than nothing. Oh, but they can be saved? Oh, you go from them being less than nothing to now you can come on and be a part of this pearly gate crew. No, you can't, man. You are less than nothing. Okay? That's what these other nations are to the Lord. Less than nothing. All right? Now let's go to the book of Isaiah 14 and 1. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel. He didn't say Israel and the other nations because the other nations have their title. You got Moab, you got Ammon, you got Edom, you got Ishmael, okay? You got all of these other nations that got their title and they have their glory right now. They have their lands. We ain't got no continuing kingdom. Okay? So the Lord said he gonna choose us. And what he gonna do? He gonna set them in their own land, and the those strangers are Israelites. Okay? Going back to neither Jew nor Greek, remember? And it says the strangers should be joined with them because he ain't gonna be no heathen stepping into Israel, stepping into the kingdom, man. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. See that? So the strangers how is it that he say, oh well, the Lord he will have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel, but then he gonna say something like the strangers shall be joined with them. That doesn't make any sense. And this word strangers is talking about Israelites that were Hellenized, man. Israelites that forgot who they were. Okay. Now this definition is not gonna say see, a temporary inhabitant and newcomer lacking inheritable rights, a foreigner in Israel through conceded rights. No, the strangers are Israelites. Okay. Sometimes the blue letter goes off. But anyway, I think I have. All right. So then let's go to the book of Isaiah 11 and 12. And it says, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. You see that? There it is, man. Okay, this is what's going to happen. It didn't say nothing about the other nations. It says this is going to be an ensign for the nations. The nations are going to know that the end is here based off of this is happening. and shall assemble the outcasts. We were cast out and scattered, and gathered together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Y'all see that? Where is there a spot for a Gentile? Where is there a spot for a heathen? There is no spot for that, man. Okay? So I got one more precept I'm gonna bring out, and then I'm gonna close it out. I think it was what? 3. Yeah. Here it is, right here. This is a Psalm of David, 83:1. It says, "A Psalm of David: keep not thou silence, O Lord, or keep not thou silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult." This whole thing about tumult goes into loud noise, disruption. Okay, this whole thing about everybody can be saved. This is just a disruption, a loud noise. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Of course, the ones that hate you are going to be telling you that everybody can be saved, because they don't want you to. They don't want us to have shit here on this side. On this side, they don't want us to have nothing. So how much more in a world where we have everything? You think they want us to have it? Okay. It says, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and counseled against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance." And this is what it's all about, making sure that you don't remember who you are, that you don't know who you are, and that you can include everybody else in something that is exclusively yours. Okay? And you can't do that, and you won't be able to do that no matter how much you want to. Okay? So, this is pretty much it. I pray this is edifying to the flock. I'm going to end it off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chachadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, great millstone. To the next time, I say shalom.